Timothy Ratliff's obsession with the monk in The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 7, Killer Instincts, reveals how focused he is on death as an escape from his financial fraud predicament. While Timothy has yet to face the reality or consequences of his involvement with an international money laundering scheme with an old business associate named Kenny, he has drowned himself in booze and his wife Victoria's lorazepam prescription to avoid dealing with the impending plight of his wealthy lifestyle and public reputation. Ever since Timothy found out that the FBI had gotten involved in previous episodes of The White Lotus Season 3, he began to contemplate how to best escape the situation, which made him consider death. He has several dark visions of using the gun that he stole from Gaytok on his wife, his oldest son Saxon, and himself, based on their inability to cope without their privileged lifestyles. On the other hand, Timothy's other two kids, Lachlan and Piper, embrace a Buddhist practice, which inspires both of them to want to stay in Thailand. Timothy hasn't stopped thinking about how death would be a good thing after meeting with the monk. He misinterprets the monk's comments about death as a warped justification for killing. Jason Isaacs as Timothy Ratliff looking worried in The White Lotus Season 3 Episode 7. Image via Max. Based on his alcohol and drug abuse, Timothy has gone to a dark place mentally, which makes him think that killing himself and his family would be a happier thing than having their lives fall apart from his crimes. The monk's discussion about death being a happy return really only validated what he had been thinking, so Tim keeps thinking about how wise the monk is. In reality, however, Tim misses the point of nonviolence as the core of Buddhist practice, which shows just how warped his frame of mind becomes in The White Lotus Season 3. Timothy's downfall is exacerbated by his constant denial of the situation he's facing and how it will affect his family. At this point in The White Lotus Season 3, Timothy still appears to be the character most likely to die in the season finale based on the fact that he continues to run away from his unavoidable problems. If Tim were to own up to the money laundering scheme, he would face fewer consequences than bottling it up and pretending like it didn't happen. Tim's pride may force him to do something incredibly drastic by the end of the season. Timothy really needed to be at Piper and Lachlan's meditation session later that day. Timothy would have understood that Buddhism is centered on nonviolence. Had Timothy actually taken an interest in Buddhist practice, he would have realized that violence is never the answer and is sourced from fear. There's no question that Tim is incredibly fearful of what will happen to him and his family, which is why things have gotten this dark for him so quickly. What Tim is most afraid of, however, seems to be his own reputation. He will no longer be an upstanding family man and his public image will be forever tainted. If Timothy had gone with Piper and Lachlan to the meditation session in The White Lotus Season 3, Episode 7, he might have been offered some much-needed spiritual clarity.